Alrighty, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Chupacabra's lair. I am your host, Larry the Chupacabra, who's also a tank man of sorts, and we're going back into War Thunder today. Check out some more armored tank machines, and we're going to be looking at some of the tank destroyers in the German tree. I was gonna do some stuff with the cute little Jagdpanzer Hetzer, which is probably one of the trolliest of the Jagdpanzers that Germany has ever made. But before you get to the cute little baby Hetzer down here, you've got the Czechoslovakian-made Czech tanks of like the Panzer 38T line, which are light tanks that, you know, Germany really wanted to make some better tanks out of, so they literally sliced the top off of the later model in order to turn it into the Marder, which is an open-top tank. You know, you got your crew back here, gunner, loader. You can literally see the shells right here to either side. It's one heck of a tank. I mean, they took off the pint-sized gun off of the earlier models, and they put on a big 76mm gun. And this is like a battle rating 3.0, tier 2, and same with the later Marder 3H, which just has a better armored front to it, and a slightly downgraded cannon by 1mm, but both of these suckers have such wonderful muzzle velocity that you can peg just about anybody with them without problem. It does suffer from your typical case-made tank destroyer issues like maneuverability, being able to aim and stuff, but, you know, it does a pretty good job. So we're going to jump in today and experiment with the Marder 3 and the Marder 3H and see what they can do. And I'll give you a hint. They murder the heck out of people. They really do. They will murder the shit out of you, right? Look how big this gun is. For real. It's just like, let's duct tape a bazooka on the front of an RC car and see who's left standing, for real. Alright, let's just jump into some realistic tank modes and do the stuff. Okay, Conquest, Ash River, it's good stuff, it murders the faces. We're gonna jump into our Marder 3, the first one, not the improved H, just because I've got better upgrades on the Marder 3. We'll eventually jump into the Marder 3H, we'll just have to see where it goes. We got one central cap point, and I've got about 20 of the regular exploding armor-piercing rounds, and then 10 of the pointy armor-piercing rounds. I think my only qualm about the Marder is because it's, you know, it's such a small, light tank, turned into a case-made tank destroyer, you run into the issue of ammunition load. This cute little puppy dog can only hold 30 rounds of ammunition, which might not seem like a huge problem. However, I oftentimes find people not really going after the Marders in combat. It's easier to sneak around in these, and later, really easy to sneak around in the Hetzer. But, like, I tend to find myself running low on ammunition in long battles. Takes forever to reload this sucker once you're in combat, so you gotta be very, very careful. And I need to be careful because our main cap point is here in the middle. But, you know, we're an open top. If anybody even sneezes on this thing, we are probably gonna die. Which is why I made sure to equip both of these tanks, even though the Marder 3H puts us at a slightly higher battle rating than this sucker. So, our goal, if they stick their noses out, they're dead. That's what's gonna happen. So we're gonna watch this bridge, which may or may not get people on it. I really don't know yet what's gonna happen, but this is definitely a pretty sturdy murder machine, all things considered. The only thing is, like, the first model has got this really thin kind of like bounce board as its frontal armor for the crew back here. So this vehicle was never intended to see any close quarters brawling-esque combat. It would just get the crap shot out of it, and it's, you know, it's an open top. It's got certain issues that other tanks do not. Suffers greatly from being shot with a high explosive round, so in like 2.7, 3.0 battle rating battles, you might want to be certain that you have some high explosive rounds equipped if you're like an F2. Like this bad boy, who I guess got shot and is running away. We'll kill that bot. I don't think anyone's... Never mind. We have people flanking from behind us. With plenty of cover from over there. Up, here's a customer right now. What are you doing, bad boy? Oh, look at you. So saucy. Oh, yeah. Great penetration on this thing. You don't really have to worry about where you're shooting, say, T-34 from, like, right there, like you just saw. It will pretty much smoke just about anything. Now, there is the potential when you're playing with the Marder 3H that you will get up-tiered ever so slightly. In those situations, you pretty much want to have, like, half regular armor-piercing explosive rounds and half pointy rounds so you can knock out things with ease, you know, like KV-2s, KV-1s, any of the heavier Russian tanks. Probably a smart idea. Not really had an issue penetrating American tanks with this sucker, which we will probably see our fair share of American tanks that require our astute attention. So we will sneak down here. This is kind of what I would describe as a trouble spot for this tank. It's muddy down in here, the terrain is hard to move through, and this guy's engine is not the best. Suffers from a lot of maneuverability problems until you upgrade the engine and the transmission. But it's solid. You're not going to have super complaints with the part where you kill people with the giant frickin' cannon. I mean, look at that thing. It's literally like some porn star whipped out their dick and they're going to slap you in the face with it. Oh, we got a customer here. We got someone in a M3 Lee, of all things. Alright. Pick out the big cannon. So I bet you may or may not have known this about the German Panzer forces, or the tank forces with their tank destroyers and Sturmgeschütz, storm guns as they are referred to. Germany actually made like 2/3 of their, armored vehicles during World War II were in fact tank destroyers, or like the case made sort of artillery support tank destroyers, like the Sturmgeschütz, the Panzers, all of those things. And they actually custom made some manuals that instructed commanders of these vehicles how to inform units in combat that when they had to pull back to get more ammunition or more fuel to continue the fighting, that they were in fact not retreating, because it was a huge morale booster to the German army to have a bunch of these tanks in combat, in the thick of fighting with you, doing the stuff. Now, we've got a KV-1 here. I don't know who he's fighting, but I hope he continues to fight that person, because I want to roll up and shoot him in the dick. He's still firing. We're going to have to put one right in his gun mantlet. But if he pays attention to me, the guy across from him will murder his face. So we just need a little up there. There we go. Where's that sweet spot? I think that was it. Yep, got into that cannon. Up into that turret, disabling his gunner, making his gunner very dead, hopefully. Fortunately, this thing is a one-shot hero. So if we get shot by pretty much anything Russian-made, we are gonna explode. But I think we're doing alright. I mean, we've got the cap point. I don't think we've even had to really fight over the dang thing. So all we have to do is worry about the last vestiges of people spawning with return spawn points, and we should be golden this match. Yeah, no, I like the Marder. It's a decent brawler unit when you upgrade its engine and transmission, and this gun will penetrate just about everything in this tier range, even stuff higher tier. I'll take this thing in and I'll kill tigers with it, or I'll kill American tanks, or what have you. It's a good all-around vehicle. It murders everything. So, nothing... Okay, what just shot me? Was it you up there? Was it you, Skippy? Was it you, Barnaby Jones? Because I'm penetrating the crap out of you. I think someone from behind me may have shot at me, too. So yeah, no, it's a strong vehicle. The front of it's decently armored. I wouldn't bet your life on it, but you could withstand, like, say, an anti-air barrage from an SPAA, you know? Oh, speak of the devil, and he shall appear. Think. Oh man, and that muzzle velocity, there is a pretty high rate, there's a pretty high leeway for error when you're shooting at people, too. So you don't really need to worry about that all that much. So, like, right there. Dunked him. I don't even have to range find too badly. I am a little practiced, I will admit that. But, not woefully so, where it's a huge advantage to me. This is just a good tank. Good tank design. Germans were really good at making scary guns. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Somebody. Uh-oh. Somebody has snuck onto the cap point. I guess I'll have to go introduce myself in my big sexy cannon. Yes, yeah. Is that SPAA gonna be a problem for me? I mean, it's not... Really, all those are high-caliber machine guns in the back of a truck. You know, whatever. Whatever floats your boat. That is Russian. So we'll just dunk whoever's in there. Disable their turret. This is the Russian open-top equivalent of the Marder. And, it's very killable. It's a much larger box. I don't remember what size gun it has, but it's equivalent. Definitely equivalent. I'm a little fearful of getting shot in the butt from somebody, however. That is a distinctive issue we're going to be dealing with. So, what do we got? Oh, a dead T-34. Alright. You know, I can dig that. I'm not going to dig that big a hole for an entire tank, but you get the idea. Someone's in the kitchen with Larry. Someone's in the kitchen, I know. Oh, crap. I've been lit on fire. This might be where Larry finally gets murdered. But I'm not especially concerned with that. Let me set this to repair. I don't know if I can... Oh, I can. Perfect. But I am slow on reloading, so this might kill me. Right here. Yep. Ammo's damaged, driver's damaged, dead, something. Oh, that's exactly what I wanted you to do, bud. That is exactly what I wanted. Ah. You spicy devil. Angling yourself so I can't do much to you? Yeah, I figured this would happen. Okay, so now we're in Normandy. Now we're gonna check out, from the get-go. I'm not gonna carry a full 30 ammo. But just for kicks, let's carry like a couple of high explosive rounds. But so we're in the Battle of Normandy, and we're going to check out the Marder 3H. The Marder 3H is the better armored and slightly improved version of the Marder 3. It feels, to me, like it maneuvers just a touch better just out the starting gate, and this is without any fancy modifications. All I've got is spare parts. I've got like probably like an angle of fire adjustment or upgrade to it, and also some fire extinguishers. So, you know, pretty basic, but I can repair, I can do fieldy things to stay alive, so we're pretty good on that mark. So this thing has a slightly reduced gun, but it can hold, oops, as I fuck up my tank from the start by hitting a tree that's slightly too big for me to run over. It's got slightly more ammo, slightly smaller caliber, 75mm gun as opposed to a 76mm, so it does kind of, suffer in that department, but it's got same great muzzle velocity. It's got, I'm pretty sure it has the ability to, pack better armor-penetrating rounds, but rather than the pointy rounds that the Marder 3 gets, this thing, if I'm not mistaken, can equip heat rounds. Which, I guess that's okay. I don't really like heat rounds. I've never been able to get a lot of meaningful kills with heat rounds, but they're not the worst, and if that's your preference, then you would definitely enjoy the Marder 3 over the regular Marder 3. So, there you go. There's the differential. And we've got people already on our cap zone. Boy, that blows chunks. So let's shoot them in the wiener, if we can. I'm pretty sure I saw a customer just through those hedges. I mean, it's either that or everyone just murdered the shit out of him. It's like, don't rush for the cap zone when there's this many frickin' people. That's just asking for trouble. I'm tempted not to go into this area of Normandy. I don't do especially well in the Normandy map. But, I think I do okay. So what did we just see run past me? I'm really, really hesitant to put my butt to the enemy. But we've got a T-34. No, that's a M3 again. I'm surprised we still have a lot of people fighting in the M3 League. It's not unusual. But, you know, I don't see all that many of them. So I just made him explode. I don't know, I never liked the M3 Lee. The M3 Lee was a dumb design. We got a lot of utility out of it from what I understand from history. Because that top turret, it could go hull down and murder the shit out of people. But, its main tank destroyer gun is pretty piddly. It's a small caliber up on top, and the side one, it's big, but its accuracy blows so many chunks. I'm just not a fan of that. So what do we got? We got like an M4 there. We got something right. Is that here? No, that's a dead husk. That's not what we want. I think whoever's shooting... Oh, here it is. Yeah, that's an M4. He's dead. Hit him with the big guns. I'm on fire. That's not good. Where did they hit me? Can't tell. But no, this tag does an okay job. If we can get our fire control back, that would be splendid, so I don't die to that other ding-dong. Let's set up a repair and try to figure out where that M4 is. I'm pretty sure it was next to the M4A1 that we just annihilated. Right there. So yeah, that's the thing. There's a tank destroyer at the far end of the plaza. Don't give me your side, M4. Or whatever you are. I think that's a cute little T-34 who doesn't know he's vulnerable. I'm also vulnerable to getting flanked really hard from the right. I don't know. I don't really like Normandy as much. I have some trouble on this map seeing through the hedges to kill people. And they ambush me more often than not. So that's not all that great. But we'll kill that T-34. I think I'm repaired. Let's, yeah. Oh, hello. What's your deal? Guess we'll just knock out some of your people. Good news is these, M3 Lees don't have the greatest penetration to deal with me. So your surprise attack was, well, poorly aimed. You should have come at me from the side. Or from the back, like that cute little Chaffee. Oh, Chaffee, baby. I'm gonna come murder you. I'm gonna come murder you in my Marder 3. Oh, it's gonna be so good. You're gonna be the envy of all the little baby Chaffies at the ball. Unless I get killed by a spawn camper, which is happening. Somebody has managed to put artillery fire on the cap zone. Or, not the cap zone, the spawn zone. So, yeah. We've also got planes now. The planes, of course, are my most ancient of nemesis. Except for that guy who just whiffed it hard. That was hilarious. Ooh, I'm just getting zinged already. Where are you? I don't see you, that's a problem. Oh, alright. Well, that's right, the cap zone's right over there. And now I'm without an engine. Poopy. Yeah, that's the trouble with the Marder. If they see you before you see them and get a shot off, you are probably gonna get sniped to death. My flank is exposed. The Marder 3, the first starter Marder, super vulnerable vehicle. So I'm probably screwed here, but that's alright. We got to see some of the Marder in action. It does some good work. It's got a big honkin' murdery cannon. I'm pretty happy with this episode. Actually, no, that wasn't the Chaffee. That's just a T-34 prototype who's sniping the spawn. Kinda douchey, but I can't blame him. At least he's not sitting behind the spawn like an a-hole. Okay, so before we jump out of here, folks, we'll take a look at the armor and how to position yourself, I suppose, for the Marder 3 and the Marder 3H. And, you know, they do okay. We'll pop this out. Armor, of course, is the thickest on the front. It's got 50 millimeters here on the front, where it's admittedly the most vulnerable because right here, you know, big flat piece, which really easy for people to shoot at. However, there's like only 16, 15 millimeters of armor just about everywhere else, and only 11 here on the topmost part, protecting your gunners on the turret. So if you can sneak around corners or hide behind bushes or hide around hills or something, that's gonna be your best bet because, you know, there's like no armor here on the back. All this armor is kind of crap. The side armor is pretty crappy. But, you know, if you can shoot people from a long distance with this big honking gun, I mean, you're doing pretty well for yourself. So we've got the X-ray, typical kind of like Panzer layout. You got your driver, machine gun. Actually switched, so the driver is on the opposite side. Don't know why there's even a machine gunner in this vehicle, but there is. You've got your gunner, you got your loader, and then, you know, everything in the back here is just crammed together. You shoot this thing pretty much anywhere, and it's going to hit a gas tank, or it's going to hit some ammo. One of the million bajillion ammo racks in here. You know, you got another at the radio station in the middle. So it's tight quarters. Don't get shot. Especially don't get shot from the rear with a high explosive either, because that'll make you go up like a firecracker. Pretty decent size engine in this sucker, all, you know, for the size of it. The Czechoslovakian Czech-made stuff. Pretty good during World War II. Pretty murdery. Especially the Hetzer. Hetzer was one of the most reliable Jag Panzers. So, next we've got the Marder 3H, which is a bit better. Still got that 50 millimeters in the front. However, the top has been increased by 4 millimeters of armor to give you a 15 millimeter sort of protective shell. This is not gonna stop a tank projectile. It'll maybe stop a small caliber projectile from a lower tier tank that somebody may have just brought along as a spare. But the only thing it's really going to be good for is stopping machine gun fire, and that's about it. Same sort of 15 millimeters on the side. It's not a whole heck of a lot better. But it's slightly better when you're dealing with a lot of American or Russian tanks, which all have machine guns, which can tear you apart if you're just using the regular Marder 3. And then the positioning is still pretty much the same. However, it's a lot easier for someone to shoot you center of mass with the Marder and hit one of these big honking shells. Look at these. They're freaking huge. There's even some up by the machine gunner. And that guy's got to be really sweating here. All these big shells right up by his face. Jeez. So, all in all, it's a good, strong vehicle, but like any early sort of tank destroyers, you don't really see a particularly good amount of armor until you're at, say, like, you know, tiers 3 and tier 4. You know, you got like the little Hetzer, which it eventually, you know, researches into. This is the successor. It's got okay armor. It's got not the best maneuverability, but nobody looks for this thing. Like, this thing is tiny. It's smaller than a Chaffee, I think, and it is just the cutest little thing. So we'll check this guy out and some other tanks in a later episode. So that's it for this round, everybody. I've been your host, Larry the Chupacabra. Thanks for joining me, checking out the Marder 3 and the Marder 3H. Both pretty delicious tank destroyers for fighting and playing peekaboo. But, you know, just like any other case-made tank destroyer, there's no swivel, so they get snuck up on and murdered a lot. So until next time, don't forget to like and subscribe, especially if you enjoyed this episode. If there's like a tank in these lower tiers that you particularly want me to take a look at, let me know. I'm more than willing to take requests, but until then, or until somebody starts suggesting stuff, I'm just gonna grab the ones that I kind of enjoy playing, that I think are really strong, and are kind of unique in their own respect. I mean, how many lower tier guns do you know in this game that have a gigantic 75mm? I mean, I like Russia. Russia's got one. What do we got? Russia. Yeah, the one that builds from the ZIS, which is no longer a tier 1 tank destroyer. It builds into the Su-76M, which is pretty much their version, Russian version, of the Marder 3. So maybe we'll check that out next time. So, I guess until later, have a good one, everybody, and I will catch you next time. Bye!